All right, everyone, time for another Frank James response. Oh, why do they have to have such similar names? So the video I'm going to be responding to is called 7 Things Introverts Need in a Partner. And I'm not going to speak for all introverts, just my own thoughts. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Also, before I get started, just wanted to let you know I am going to be drinking some plum wine probably throughout it. I had a really stressful night last night. And I need it.
If you're an introvert and you're wondering what qualities you should be looking for in a romantic partner, or maybe you're wondering if you have what it takes to be in a relationship with an introvert, keep watching, because these are the 7 things introverts need in a partner. Number 1, very important, someone who can give the introvert space. Introverts absolutely need to be alone from time to time. This is non-negotiable. If an introvert doesn't get alone time, they're gonna start to lose it. It isn't pretty. I think some people might assume that introverts have exceptions to this rule. They think, oh, if I'm dating an introvert, sure, they need alone time, but that alone time can be with me. Honey boo boo, that is not how this works. Introverts need a partner who can let them be alone. Like actually alone. Someone who can be kind of independent and be like, okay, I'll do my thing, you do your thing. We don't always have to be attached at the hip. And most
Oh my gosh, yes. You said this in the INFP dating video, partner video too, and so true. I wish my exes would get this. Like, none of them understood this. Every time I ask for alone time and I let them know, like, as nicely as possible, like, I just need to be alone to process things and blah, blah. I'll be fine in a little bit. I just need some time. They would always make a big deal about it. Oh, you don't love me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you don't love me because you're not letting me have my freaking alone time that's going to allow me to be a better partner, feel better so I can be a better partner. Hello. Ooh.
And most importantly, introverts need someone who won't take it personally when the introvert wants to be entirely alone.
God, that's exactly what I said. Thank you. Thank you for saying this. Thank you. Please, if you're dating an introvert, do not take it personally. Like, thank you for saying that, Frank James. That's exactly what I said.
Number 2, peace and love. Introverts need someone who understands that they're not mad if they're quiet or want to be alone. Some people get nervous around quiet people. They assume if you're quiet, it means you're angry and like on the verge of a meltdown, because that's how they would be if they were quiet. Or maybe if an introvert wants some space and wants to be alone and do something by themselves, the other person might be like, oh, this introvert is upset with me. Who knows, maybe this introvert is quiet and wants to be alone because they're planning how to leave me. This ain't good. But no, introverts are just quiet. Most obvious thing I think I've ever said on this channel. They just need to be alone sometimes. So an introvert needs a partner who doesn't feel threatened by that.
Yes.
Someone who can just have like a quiet afternoon where you don't really interact at all and they're not always asking you, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? You're really quiet. I don't know, something seems to be bothering you because you're really quiet. It's making me really uncomfortable.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so true. You have no idea, like, my whole life, because I grew up like super shy and quiet and mute, basically. You can see my video about that. But yeah, people constantly, are you mad? Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, oh my God, like, I'm fine. I'm just observing. I'm thinking. And then they would keep asking me, and then when that makes me more mad. Like that, like I wasn't mad, but you constantly asking me if I'm mad is making me mad. So stop. If I tell you one time I'm not mad, I'm good, leave me alone. All right. Especially like a lot of jobs I've had where you have to be kind of more extroverted, like a server or retail jobs or customer service. I usually was the quietest one there. And I kind of only talk when I needed talked when I needed to because I needed to conserve my energy to deal with the horrible customers. So I didn't really talk, especially everyone was like, I don't know, I just didn't really gel with them. I didn't really have a lot in common with them. And are you okay? Why are you so quiet? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, do I ask you why you're so loud? Do I ask you why you're so annoying? No. So leave us quiet people alone. Like, you can ask us once. It's fine. It shows concern. But if we tell you we're good, just trust us. Like, stop bothering us.
Number 3, introverts need someone who can talk about things in a deep way. Introverts are naturally inward focused. That's literally what makes them introverts. So introverts really like to think things through. And with many conversation topics, introverts have already processed things very thoroughly. Or processed things if you're Canadian. Introverts just like to think a lot. That means in conversation, introverts want to discuss things at a deeper, more introspective level. Keeping a conversation on the surface where it's just a lot of back and forth about somewhat shallow, basic ideas actually gets exhausting for introverts because they're going against their natural inward focus. So an introvert needs a partner who is willing to really dig into a conversation.
Yes.
Someone who not only is able to process the world at a deep level themselves, but someone who can appreciate an introvert's mind and those ideas that the introvert has had marinating in their brain.
Yes, that is very true. I love having deep conversations. That's like my favorite thing about when you have, like, for me, that's what makes a good date, you know, and when you have a really, really good conversation. And not just on dates, but in general, if I have a good conversation, if I meet like someone at work or, you know, just anywhere, and we have a really good conversation, like, to me, that's just like a high. Like, I will think about that conversation forever. Like, wow, like all those great moments during the conversation. Like, that was so good. You know, it's just like deep conversations give me life. You know, like I love them, but they're so rare. I don't really, especially, I mean, now during COVID, I haven't really, you know, hung out with a lot of people in person. But one of my favorite things is when you have those nights where you just stay up all night talking to someone and you'll be like, oh my gosh, 4 hours have passed by and it hasn't even, you know, it just flew by because we were having such a good conversation. I love deep conversations. For me, like, if there's not a good conversation on a first date, like, it's just, ugh. Like, what's the point? What's the point, you know?
Number 4, the introvert needs someone who understands that they can't socialize like all the time. Introverts do need to socialize. I want to make this clear and not let the introverts out there off the hook. So I'm not suggesting that an introvert needs someone who will never leave the house ever. But an introvert will curl up in a ball and possibly even lose their S if their partner is dragging them to social event after social event after social event after social event. So the introvert needs a partner who can respect that and won't try to change that. Someone who can work with the introvert to find out what are the reasonable limits for getting together with friends and family. This is essential so the introvert doesn't feel pushed beyond their limits. Number 5, someone who challenges the introvert to grow. So like I said, an ideal partner for an introvert isn't going to be the kind of person who says, oh, you never want to go outside again? Well, that's fine. Let me enable you, you beautiful shut-in. Relationships are all about growth for both people. So the introvert needs someone who can help them get out of their comfort zone. Not so much drag them kicking and screaming out of their comfort zone, but gently challenge them and help them grow. The challenges don't just have to be when it comes to being more social. It's up to you to figure out where you need to grow in your life. A good relationship will inspire you to make those improvements.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Let me know what you think, about this. Again, I'm not speaking for all introverts. I'm just speaking for myself. I've dated like people who are just like a little bit too extroverted for me. So I would ideally want someone who is either an introvert who is a little bit more extroverted than me, or an extrovert who understands introverts. Because I do like traveling and I do like meeting new people and stuff, just like not everyone at the same time. And I need my alone time as well. But yeah, I definitely agree with him that you have to I think a good relationship, is one where you help each other become, improve and be a better version of yourself. So if there are things that you want to improve, maybe talk to your partner about it, and maybe you guys can help each other out, with maybe improving whatever you both want to improve. Also, because I do love traveling, I wouldn't want to date someone who doesn't like to travel. So, yeah.
Number 6, someone who can respect that the introvert is sensitive. Introverts tend to be a bit more sensitive than extroverts. This is generally why extroverts like a lot of socializing and introverts can't take much of it, but it extends beyond that. Introverts also tend to be very tuned in to others' emotional states and can kind of get alarmed when others get angry or upset. For that reason, an introvert might also not want to express their own feelings that could potentially cause their partner to get upset. So an introvert needs a partner who realizes that the introvert might be a little sensitive sometimes. I'm not saying that the partner should walk on eggshells, but they should be able to respect the introvert's sensitivity and realize, if we get into an argument, maybe we need to go in separate rooms and cool down a little bit before we talk. Or maybe I need to listen quietly if my introvert is expressing something they're unhappy about, because I know it's hard for them to talk about it at all.
Yes. Great point. Yes. That is so hard for people to understand. That's why I have a hard time opening up to certain people, and it takes me a long time to even trust them to open up to them, because sometimes when I have opened up to people, especially exes, they're a-holes. They'll say things like, just get over it, blah, blah, blah. And they're just not sympathetic or for example, my grandma passed away, and when I mourn probably longer than a lot of people. I've mourned for a long time. I've had a lot of family members and other people die, and it's never easy for me. And I cry more than anyone and of my family. I just take it really hard when somebody passes away, and just talking about it, I'm getting emotional. Sorry. So yeah, I take it really hard. Wow. It's the wine. But yeah, I take it really hard, and I mourn longer than a lot of people. And basically, when I was mourning my grandmother, 2 days after she passed away, I was, still, sad and crying. And my ex, he was my boyfriend at the time. He was like, oh, you're still crying? Just get over it. He was just such a jerk. I'm like, what the heck? My grandma passed away. I'm sorry if I'm not gonna get over it in 2 days. When he did that, I was like, I need to break up with this guy. I cannot be with someone who talks to me like that when I'm mourning a family member. So we need people who will definitely understand that we are sensitive. My whole life I've been a more sensitive person, and people, oh, you're too sensitive, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It means I have a heart. Oh, you're too sensitive. Oh, you're too emotional. Oh, excuse me for having a heart and having sympathy and caring about people. Excuse me. At least I'm not a freaking psychopath, okay?
Number 7, someone who is just right on the introvert-extrovert scale. This is really the question that a lot of people are wondering. Should an introvert be with someone who is more extroverted? The same level of introverted? More introverted? First of all, let's point out that introversion and extroversion are on a scale, and most of us are somewhere in the middle. My view on the matter is that you shouldn't go too far in either direction on the scale from where you are, because if you're paired with someone way more extroverted than you, they're going to be unhappy that you don't want to go out and do stuff more often.
I know from experience.
And you're going to be drained. But if you're with someone who is way more introverted than you might end up feeling uncomfortable because suddenly you have to be the more outgoing one to balance things out. And if you're an introvert, that can exhaust you. So start looking for someone who is generally in the same ballpark of the introvert-extrovert scale as you, maybe a few points higher or lower depending on your preference.
Yep, that's basically what I said. For me, I want someone who's just probably a little bit more extroverted than me to kind of help me, because I do have anxiety as well. like generalized anxiety and like social anxieties, so it would be nice to have someone who can kind of help me in those situations, but is sensitive about it at the same time. Like they're not a jerk about it. And I have met people who are like that, it's just I haven't dated them.
My frank opinion is it's usually better for an introvert to find someone who is more extroverted and vice versa. Check out this video about introverts next. Subscribe for more videos.
That was my dog shaking. That's what I said. That's what I said. Glad we agree. So this was a great video. We actually agreed on a lot of points. That was really funny how I would say something and then he would kind of say the same thing. So cool. And I also like it because, you know, it's 7 things and 7 is my favorite number. Awesome. I was actually born on the 7th too. Maybe my 7th boyfriend will be the magic number. I don't even know if I'm close to 7, but we'll see. I don't know. Anyway, so thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm sorry for getting emotional. Well, you know what? I'm not sorry. I say sorry too much, so I'm not sorry. Okay, if you're an ESTJ watching, I'm not sorry. Okay, at least I'm not a freaking psychopath. Thanks, Frank James, for the awesome video. I'm gonna go finish my wine, and I look forward to reading your comments. Also, if you like how my hair looks and you think it looks nice and smooth, well, that is thanks to Nature Lab Tokyo hair products. I highly recommend it. I love how my hair feels when I use them. They have different products depending on what you want to achieve. I use the repair products. So if you want to try them out for yourself, you can use the link in the video description and use coupon code HTRPOD10 to get a 10% discount.